I think the demon in this film watched Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight one too many times. Nefarious, released in 2023 and is directed by Chuck Kozelman and Carrie Sullivan, who's also directed such films like Unplanned and The Insatiable. And this film is starring Sean Patrick Flanery, Jordan Belfi, Tom Omer, and Glenn Beck. And the reason why we're talking about Nefarious today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my contributors and supporters of this channel, Dr. Camp. Once again, here comes one of your recommendations. I think I'm getting to the recommendations in your list that were all Christian-based ones, because I saw this. I think I'm going to be looking at God's Not Dead here in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, let's talk about faith and religion and how I used to be a part of it and now I am not. Thank you, Dr. Camp. Thank you very much. But if anyone else out there also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. Nefarious tells the tale of Dr. James Martin, who is a psychiatrist, who goes to a prison to give one final psych eval to a serial killer on death row named Edward Wayne Brady. His execution is scheduled for that night, and Dr. Martin needs to deem if he is psychologically fit to stand the execution. And while there, Brady is doing his best to convince Dr. Martin that his body is actually possessed by a demon, and the demon predicts that Dr. Martin will commit 3 murders before he leaves the cell today. So when the film kicks off, it's just this conversation of this doctor, the psychiatrist, and this prisoner who may be possessed. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just a conversation between the two. There's some times where there's a character that comes in and out. Sometimes they take breaks from each other, but then they come right back to their conversation around a table. And I'm a sucker for films like that. I'm a sucker for plays like that, where it's just two people sitting down at a table having a conversation. And if the writing is great, and if the scenery that they're painting with the words that they're saying is intriguing enough, oh yeah, it could be a great picture, it could be a great theatrical experience. And for the most part, I was really digging this. I was digging it when they were at this table and having this conversation, and this Brady character is trying to convince the doctor that he is a demon. And the switch that he has going from the demonic person inhabiting him to the actual Edward, and how he is stuttering and how he cowers, almost like he's still in his infancy, like he's been possessed for a very long time and the actual Edward never had a chance to grow up. It was interesting. I was getting suckered into it. I was getting interested to see, okay, is this real, or is this just a serial killer kind of playing around with this doctor? It was getting to a little point where it felt like he was performing a little bit. Basically like he's watched Heath Ledger's Joker so many times, and he was trying to do his best Heath Ledger Joker impersonation without doing the exact same thing. But his mannerisms, the cadences that he has, you can definitely hear some Joker in those cadences. And I know, because Dark Knight is my favorite movie, and I've watched it so many goddamn times. But good on him for trying. I think any actor who gets a role like this, where they can be this demonic possessed psycho killer who's just all about chaos and all about evil things, I think is a lot of fun as an actor. Because in real life, you know, we have these morals, and we have what is morally right and morally wrong in society, which almost everyone agrees with and you live your life by. So to get a role where you can kind of go against that and fight against that and be a character who doesn't see things like that, I think it's very interesting. Now, I will say the build to this story was that Dr. Martin apparently is going to be committing 3 murders before he leaves the cell. And I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but there are 2 murders that he commits to in the scene. The first murder, though, that's called out is not like that happened years ago, or at least it happened at least months ago. And that doesn't count towards the total, in my opinion. The demon was counting it, but that could happen like years ago. Like, that doesn't count. You can't count something that I did years ago for a total number of things that you're looking to do here in the cell now. You can't do that. So if it is an actual demon in the body, I'm not going to spoil if it is or not, but, you know, if it is, you know, learn how to count, bruh. Now, I was saying that this film was intriguing and it was sinking its teeth into me during this conversation bit. But it gets to a point, like the whole third act doesn't happen with this conversation. It happens with the execution and the things that follow after that. And to see a film go from something that I was really invested in and really intrigued by to something that falls completely flat and misses the landing almost entirely. Like, they could have done so much with that ending that could have gone along with the creepiness and the sadisticness that they were establishing in the first 2/3 of this movie. Like, there were so many other directions they could have gone, but they chose the most vanilla, which I don't like. Vanilla's not bad. I like vanilla. They chose the most plain and bland ending they could possibly pick for this film. So disappointing. This movie, it didn't kill the film completely for me, but it definitely brought it down several steps. I could say that this is one of the most disappointing endings that I've ever seen in a movie because, again, I was just so enthralled with the first 2/3, and then they get an ending so blah and so, things happen, that ended. For it to end like that, so disappointing. Maybe it got a rise out of other people, but it didn't for me. There were so many other choices that they could have made to make that ending way more interesting and to match the intensity level that the first 2/3 of the film had. But they just didn't. They were just like, oh yeah, we need an ending for this. There we go. They had this creepy horror film vibe in the first 2/3, and then they just wimped out for some after-school special Sunday school Christian showing type ending that just muddles the waters, and it's just bleh. Like, really? Come on. Take a note from the Supernatural TV show. At least they have great endings and they know how to get you creepy all throughout the entire show. It's a very disappointing ending. I don't think the film's a failure overall. Again, I like the first 2/3 when we're just sitting at that table. But that ending, though, that messed things up tremendously. I'm going to give Nefarious 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, if you've seen Nefarious, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.